So lately I realized we get stalled whenever I record anything. I have to give it a bit of time. So we're going like it's going now. Alright, everybody, I'm Pumpkin Jack, and today I'm coming out of the gassy hellos. Today I'm accompanied by...
This is Red!
And producer Bolt.
You would be the producer on this one. Not.
Yeah, it really would be. Maybe not.
Like, no. I'm not going out in the woods. You kids are going to come back with that fucking footage, and I'm going to do it this way. Mm-hmm.
Well, if I make it.
The definition of producer from Ren and Stimpy, it's like, he's the one that tells everyone what to do and takes all the credit.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And little to no risk.
I'm not saying that is what you do, Bolt. You do quite a bit more than that.
And then when things go bad, we just blame it on the director. Josh Trank, Fan 4 Stick. That's what happened.
Even when you do tell us what to do, we don't listen.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So what's going on with you guys?
I have to contain an anger, murderous rage every other day. What's new with you guys?
Well, not quite that. I just moved. I just moved from one side of Lafayette, Colorado, to the other side of Lafayette, Colorado, from the west side of town to the east side of town. And good move. Glad it's almost done. We've still got a few things to bring over. But I'm in a new place. And what that means is I'm wondering if it's haunted. I haven't seen any signs yet, but whenever you move into a new place, that is one thing to watch out for.
I mean, if it is haunted, you can ask for the rent to be reduced, right? There's a law, I heard. Somebody died in your house. They have to reduce the rent. There's a website, someonediedhere.com. You just pay the $5, you put in the address, and it lets you know.
They're not something. Well, I mean, with real estate in some states, don't they? Isn't it required that they tell you if someone died in the house within a certain amount of time?
It is, but you know, there's
is it
loopholes
enforceable?
to it.
Yeah.
There's loopholes to it. Like
Right.
for example, you gotta ask. Most states, the rule is you gotta ask. If you don't
You
ask,
gotta ask. Oh, okay.
You don't ask.
You didn't mention it was on an Indian burial ground. No, you didn't. Well, okay. You mentioned it.
That was not my recollection. He said he mentioned like 10 or 12 times. Oh my god, that's the best episode.
We did.
You know, not to mute the soundboard, Bolt. Not on the podcast.
Sorry, I'm doing producer stuff. Yeah, I can't hear anything.
Nice. Moved in. You had to call over the guy from the Exorcist movie to go check out your, like in that Amityville movie. Remember they sent the priest in there to go bless the house, and then he was all covered in bees by the end of it. That's one movie we got to cover.
Well, so we did notice that we already have fruit flies. So that's the closest thing.
Where I come from, that usually means potential haunting. You know, flies, bad omen. Nah. Welcome.
Yeah. I feel for you, everything means potential haunting.
Not always. Just sometimes. Only sometimes.
The door opens out, not in. Potential haunting.
Well, potential
haunting. There's a sink. Potential haunting.
Look, potential hauntings are when you find dead things around your house, flies coming in, somebody left a MAGA banner on your front doorstep and they're just not letting go of the past. You know, those are the things that you find out that you should mean your house is haunted. That's all. Leonard Nimoy keeps coming and fucking with your technology.
Wait, clarify the flies bit. Like, what type of flies are we talking about? Like horse flies, gnats, strange flies?
Usually the...
You know your flies, man.
The regular... What's fucking flies? The ones that come when everything is rotten, and they come and they lay the maggots down, the big ones.
Okay, not the fruit flies.
Well, fruit flies also come and do that. They're the little ones that are like scattered all over, but they're not as bad as the actual big ones that leave the maggot. Zzz, zzz.
I mean, all flies have maggots. That's because the maggots are just the larvae.
Yes, you are right, Steve Irwin.
Between me and Bolt, we make a fly expert.
Yes.
All the animals we have good expertise on. We just happen to pick that. It's kind of concerning. Not gonna lie.
Well, anyways, aside from flies and moving, anything new on your docket, Bolt, for this week? Are you still pissing and fighting with Dead by Daylight?
No, I took a break and fed my Yu-Gi-Oh addiction and my Insomnia Cookies addiction. So, just another day in the life of Bolt.
Yesterday we were fighting with that game again. It's just a natural thing in our day-to-day lives. We get bored and we go and harass killers on Dead by Daylight.
Well, we used to harass killers. Now we're the ones living out actual horror movies.
Yeah, karma.
And it's always... But we won collectively a lot more than usual, which was odd. I'm just like, you know what? This is still not worth the heartache and the heart attacks. I'm gonna put this game down for like 20 seconds and go get some cookies.
Also, everybody, Bolt has a cookie addiction. He's addicted to thin cookies. Special.
No, not thin cookies. Not just thin cookies, but cookies in general, if they taste good. And I can quit anytime I want.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
That's
you
what
can't prove that.
That's what they all say.
Supposedly, Louis Armstrong said, "I've smoked marijuana every day for 30 years, and I've never found it addictive."
Mr. Gumble, this is a Girl Scout meeting. Is it? Or you just not want to admit you have a problem? That's the one voice I can never get. Oh boy. Well, on to today's subject. What
are we talking about?
So these past 3 weeks, the past 3 months have been kind of aimless and stumbling like the kids in this film, trying to get this genre kickstarted, and we never do. We're finally here, found footage. And we're starting off today with one of the more popular ones. It's almost everybody within our age range's intro into found footage films. The Blair Witch Project. And if I hear a hipster out there tell me that it was Hannibal Holocaust that was your first intro into found footage, I'm going to hunt you down and kick you. Because for the rest of us born in 1989, it was The Blair Witch Project. We all knew about this movie. It was everywhere when we were kids. The lady busting her camera with a thing up her nose like this was just everywhere when we were kids. It got parodied left and right. See, look, I fucked up the camera, but I have the hindsight of having a screen. It is not 1997, and you can't see the camera. But it was one of those powerhouse films. I also have a bit of personal ties with this one because I was born in the state of Maryland. Notice how I didn't say great state. Just I was born in the state of Maryland. Maryland is a state.
It is a state.
It is a state.
I have been there. I have been there. I've enjoyed it. Get you a crab cake.
Just a crab cake, nothing else.
Just a crab cake.
All right, we're being stingy over here.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Mute this.
Don't you dare!
I said unmute this. But okay, you said don't do it. All right.
Unmute it. You shouldn't have been muted in the first place. You shouldn't have been muted in the first place.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I'm malfunctioning.
Anybody talking about thoughts on anything?
All right. Anyways.
Just ban them.
So, anyways, that was this film, though. I wanted to ask you guys: did you guys hear about this? Both. I'm not. I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't. But do you guys remember what this one was like when it came out? Like I remember it. Like, it was just yesterday, so I was in the 4th grade when this movie came out. Yeah,
I really don't remember it that well. I do remember like knowing the image that you were talking about with the camera right up in Heather's face, and yeah, the still that they use is not the one where there's snot dripping from her nose. That was a wise marketing decision by him. But yeah, I do remember that image being like a really recognizable thing then. And but no, I didn't see it when it came out. It's 97, right? 1997.
I think it came out. The film is shot in 97, but I believe it came out. Because I remember it was 4th grade, so it would have been either 97, 98.
Okay, so I wouldn't have even been 10. So, I don't know, depending on who your parents are
99.
or depending on what.
It was on 99.
Yeah, just okay. Yeah, I guess just depending on your circumstances. I would have been too young to see it in my house, but but eventually my dad did show it to me, probably when I was like 14 or something. Yeah. So I don't really, but no, I actually don't have a lot of strong memories of it when it first came out.
I did. It was so. Let me take you back, if you will, to the year 1999. This movie was kind of viral. I don't know how to explain viral for 1999 standards, other than everybody kind of had bootlegs or something of it somewhere, somehow. I remember...
Oh, there you go. That's how you describe it.
Well, I remember when it first came out, though, for 99, there was this debate among everybody whether or not it was real or fake. And it was back and forth, whether or not it was real or fake. Because you gotta remember, not everybody watched late night TV, not everybody watched the news, right? So some people are literally just getting their shit, and then they're going to bed. And when this movie came out, a lot of people missed those kids coming out on late night talk shows. They missed, everybody coming out on the magazines, the interviews, they didn't know. So, when this one comes out, a lot of people were arguing if it's legit or not. And then it didn't help that on the Sci-Fi Network, they were showing specials discussing the case, and more people were adding validity to it. And they're like, yeah, this is legit. This movie's real. Mm-hmm. So, to break down the plot, which is why people were debating whether or not it was or wasn't real. The plot is basic. It does set the template for every fucking found footage movie, and I have to slur that word like crazy, because it is. Heather is your typical, I'm gonna film it because I'm a pretentious, douchey cinema snob, and the two other guys are like, we need to focus on getting the hell out of here, why are you filming it, as they get mad at her. So, the whole thing of this film is, it makes you wonder if it is a actual witch haunting them in the woods that they go look for, or are they just lost because this is 1997, and although there are GPSs, not everybody has one. College kids definitely can't afford one, and unless you were taught how to read a map, you do not know how to navigate that. Like, the maps reading skills were a thing back in the day. So you ask, is what's going on real or not? But ultimately, them being in danger is a thing, and people thought they might be watching the final hours, the final days of a bunch of kids being missing in the woods. I remember everybody being hyped over it. I remember everybody telling me it was one of the scariest movies they ever saw at the lunch table, and then we saw it on video. And my brother and I both looked at each other when it was done. Yeah, that sucked.
Really? Oh.
It was bad? I mean, I can't say I'm surprised.
For 1999, we were used to slasher films like left and right? We're kids. We're used to slasher movies. We want to see the monster. We're used to a payoff. So then when the camera just kind of falls over twice, we're kind of like, that's it. All right. The camera falls over twice. There's just these 3 people wandering around in the woods for an hour and a half. Family Guy did it the best. Nothing's happening. Something about a map. I don't remember. Nothing's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And it's over.
Yeah.
A lot of people in the audience look pissed.
Well, so it's really not a horror movie that does what you expect horror movies to do. Like, there's no look behind you, the monster's right behind you moments.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have the same rhythm as your typical horror film does, because it's just filmed in such a radically different way than any other movie is. And that became really clear to me with watching the sequel, which is filmed like a traditional movie. And with that movie, it's sort of like, okay, like, he sees this ghost, and then he turns around, and he turns back around, and I know it's not going to be there. I know exactly what's going to happen in this movie. But with the original, it's just all about, like, where the person is looking at that particular moment, or how the camera is being held. It's just like, it feels so freaking real. And part of that is because of the quality of the actual images and the shaky camera, and part of that is the acting. Like, the acting is tremendous. It's incredible acting.
They were self-directed, the majority of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what I found fascinating, is that they were self-directed throughout the majority of the film. They were just left buckets with supplies and a marker as to where they had to get to. And then from there, they pretty much improv'd and just read notes and improv'd and read notes, exchanged camera footage, exchanged film and stuff. Apparently, there's like 10 hours of film or 18 hours of film that we still haven't seen, that the directors are petitioning if they can get it out there, which I thought was interesting. Like, they have extensive amounts of film left over, and they're asking if they can get it released, and I think they're going back and forth because they did a terrible trilogy film that we don't discuss.
To make a new cut of the original, you mean, or like just to have it out there for
a pseudo complete cut, because the original film was intended to be more of a docu-series, like a docudrama. So you're going back and forth with the lost footage, and then you're going back and forth with, like, Tales of the Witch, the Rustin Parr case. You're also
so it was supposed to be cut like this is the footage that we have, and we're gonna explain it along the way.
Sort of like that,
like made for TV.
Yeah, sort of like that.
Oh no! And that would. I'm glad they weren't able. I'm glad they weren't able to do that with the original, because that sounds like a worse movie.
Yeah, so what
it's great the way it is.
Yeah, what they did was they cut it up into these mini documentaries. So, like, they had that one of, like, the one that was always on TV, Curse of the Blair Witch. That was the one that was always on TV. And then they had another one, which I think was released not too long ago, the Burkittsville 7, which details the Rustin Parr case a little more and what happened with that. Rustin Parr is mentioned. It's like one of the more awful things that happened in the film, that happened in the town before the Blair Witch events take place. Those missing 7 kids. So, and we don't get an answer to that, unfortunately, until the sequel, which people still don't like to talk about.
But we will.
Oh,
we won't like it. Or, I mean, it's not that bad. It's not as bad as I remember it being.
No, it was a good movie.
It's a movie.
How do I put it? When I was a kid, I went to see the sequel, and I didn't hate it. Like, a lot of people have, like, this anger-inducing rage boner for the second one, and I'm like, guys, I've seen worse movies than that. When I was a kid, I sat in the movie theater, and I was able to enjoy it, at least for a little while. Like, what the hell? Yeah, my parents took me to see that. I was able to sit down and enjoy it. I saw it on DVD a few times. It's not a horrible film. How did I say? A Rose by any other name, right? Would have much give it. It wouldn't have been a Blair Witch movie. It would have been something else. I think people wouldn't hate it as bad. But as for what that movie does, it deserves its own little video because there's a lot of Easter eggs hidden, and there was even competitions that were held if you could find the Easter eggs and solve the mystery of the Blair Witch. And I'm dead serious. And if you were able to go on the website back in the day, you would punch in the Easter eggs because it was a mystery, the mystery of S. Rever or some shit. And if you solved the mystery of S. Rever, your name went on this plaque in the site as one of the people who was able to solve the mystery of S. Rever or something like that. Because there's like hidden words hidden throughout the back in the shots of the film. And there's something, at some point the lady speaks backwards, and if you manage to catch all the words, arrange them in the right way, and then hear the audio in reverse, you get the message as to what's going on. And the writers are like, yeah, you solved it. Good for you. So
it's a lot of work for just a title.
But,
Not a title. A name on a plaque.
I think it was like 47
Yeah.
The words were, "Seek me no further, or the children walk free." Something like that. Because like the children are apparently like now the evil disciples of the Blair Witch. Something like that. So I wanted to ask you guys, do you guys, aside from this one, have you guys ever seen horror movies regarding witches and witchcraft before? Like
Sure.
these kinds of films? So,
Yeah.
do you
I
guys...
have not.
So, Red, do you think you could explain what was happening to these kids if we're to buy into that they were being really stalked by a witch?
Well, I don't know if I know enough about the witch mythology, really. Well, I mean, there's the aspect of possession.
Okay.
There's that's kind of the only thing that I can come up with that's like a common thread.
Yeah, so it's not that well written out because witch movies usually tend to have a bit of nuance. Either nowadays after Harry Potter, either the witch is good or the witch is, an anti-hero. But back in the day when you had witch stories...
Or the witch is back.
Like...
Yeah. As Elton John might put it.
Well, Elton John on the radio might put it. So... But the general theme with all these films was the witches tend to be in their own little area out in the woods, deep into the woods, and if you want to go there, you have to fight your way to get in there, right? It's not as simple, you can just kind of walk in and walk out. Once you walk into a witch...
If you're a kid.
Well, in general, no. Like, if you walk into a witch area, their territory, they usually have these hexes set up all around where they are.
Like runes.
Yeah, like runes, hexes. It's just like these twigs or something. Like, it's kind of a symbol for you to know there's a witch here.
Mm.
So if you cross the hex and you see it and you continue forward, you're about to get into some shit because you shouldn't be there in general. Like, the witch doesn't want you there. You're crossing, you're trespassing. So when they see the first twig guy, they've already walked into the hex and they don't realize that they've walked into a hex. So you're not supposed to cross those twig guys because that's their territory. So they're kind of stuck in that area, in that zone, until she lets them go or until they're dead. That's essentially what's happening. Why it works for this kind of film is because you don't need to see the witch, you don't need to experience anything. All you need to see is what they're going through, which is being lost. And what's eerie about it is, you think this could potentially happen to you someday. Like, what if you're hiking and then you walk past off the trail just to see a little bit of a sight, and you accidentally walk past the twig and you never make it back to the trail, right? That's where it gets kind of scary. So that's essentially is what was happening to them, to the best of my understanding, to my knowledge of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
So the map didn't work, the compass didn't work, nothing worked because they were
But
in a hex.
here's what I have an issue with. Here's what I have an issue with that. If the witch has these defense mechanisms set up and doesn't want these people, and it's in her best interest to get these people out of her territory, so to speak, then why leave warnings and then have like stuff like the compass not being able to function for them?
Oh, the witch doesn't want them
It's
out of the
like,
territory. At that point, she has them in their territory, and she can do with them as she pleases. They wandered into her territory. She wants to off them, torture them. It's up to her.
Yeah, she's vengeful. She's not a get off my lawn type.
Yeah. Like, she gets a joy out of whatever it is she's doing, and that's more or less how it's going. Again, right?
There goes my sympathy.
Over the years, right? Like, people have kind of taken their so much witch media out there, making them either heroes, superheroes, all this stuff. But an old school witch like that was not someone you wanted to fuck with. Like, they're not friendly, they're not nice, they're not here to do evil unto others. They're kind of like, I live in isolation because piss off. Right?
Yeah. And it's like you don't it's not just an old hag in the woods in this movie. It's like it's worse than that. It's just like this vague presence. It's like this force.
Yeah.
And you never really get to know what it is. And you never really you never really get a good look at anything, even the physical things that do happen. You never really get a clear look at anything, like the bundle of sticks with Josh's teeth.
Yep.
That ends up at the front of their tent. By the way, if you look closely, you'll notice that bundle of sticks is tied up with pieces of his shirt.
Yep.
Yeah.
I noticed that for the first time on this last viewing. Yeah.
Are actual human
but so like you can see that it's his teeth, but it's still kind of a vague image. You don't get a great look at it. And then earlier in the movie, when he's talking about how there's this slime on his stuff, it's like in any other horror movie, you would get like a really clear close up with stuff dripping. It would be like really, really gross and vivid. It would almost be kind of like a body horror thing. But in this movie, you see the stuff, but you don't get a good look at like what's on it. It's all just sort of like suggested. So you get the sense that not only, I don't know, when I watch this movie, I get the sense that this is something that's just impossible to understand, and that's what makes it so terrifying.
Well, yeah. Also, it's on the lens of this could actually happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they fooled a lot of people as to this actually happened.
They did.
A lot of people were fooled. A lot of people were pissed, too, when they found out.
I want my money back. What do you guys so we could talk about the marketing campaign a little bit, how it was actually intentional on the part of the filmmakers and the marketing team to kind of create a rumor that this was real. Like I think what it was when it premiered at Sundance, was it? The actors didn't show up to keep up the rumor that they actually were missing.
They were told to keep a low profile.
On the website.
It's messed up.
Yeah. Like on the original website, they had fake police reports, fake news stories about it. This got, this got to the point where Heather Donahue's mother was receiving sympathy cards from strangers on this, and it's sort of like, I don't know if this is okay. I don't know. You're like making people actually worry about something that didn't actually happen.
It makes me wonder. I wonder what would happen if we were do that for the first time today, I wonder what would be like everyone's reaction. Because
So
I feel like it'll just be like that same thing, but just like magnified by 100, and it'll just keep
It's a
going
world
up
where-
until something crazy.
Yeah, well, we live in a world where it's harder to hide. So I don't know if it would even work, but maybe.
I think
Like
I think
someone
it's still a chance for it to work.
I think I think it might work, but not for as long.
So, as someone who has considered doing something like this in the past, I'll explain
Okay.
how you would get away with it today. You tell everybody you got COVID and you hide, and then from there on, you Uber Eats and you pretty much fresh direct all your stuff to leave it on your porch. You open the door and you leave. Put a mask on, open the door, and close it. And from there, you
Oh, the masks. Yeah.
put your mask on, hood up, put your stuff, and pull in. And then you go straight home. Watch Netflix for like at least a month until everything blows over. Have a cup of tea and wait for this whole thing to blow over. It's pretty much how it goes down nowadays. But I'll be honest with you, it would be unethical now. But in the 90s, that was pretty much par for the course. That's how a lot of stuff like that happened. I mean, in the 90s, a lot of people still thought, myself included, wrestling was real. Even though, like, the curtain had been sort of pulled, but I was a little kid. I didn't know any better. And wrestling was presented in some companies still as real with the hyper-violence. So, if this thing goes on for years, then who am I to say, oh yeah, it's unethical for them to make us believe this. It's all a part of... It was the first time we were actually seeing that. We hadn't seen anything like the Blair Witch up until this movie came out, at least in this part of this marketing strategy, right? Where it's like, make them believe it's real. Have them cast doubt on whether or not this really happened. Once people have this idea, it'll add this mystique, and people will pay and line up around the block to see this boring-ass movie. But first, people need to believe that it's for real.
Well, I mean, it was the first time that we, as in our generation, saw this kind of marketing campaign, but it's not the first time that something like this was done.
Oh, no, it's not. But I'm not sure if the time we're thinking was intentional, because that guy had to go to court.
Oh, no. So we're talking about the marketing campaign of... Or was it really a campaign? Well, the movie we're talking about was Cannibal Holocaust.
Yes.
Which is this Italian film from the 70s. I think it's the 70s. About a documentary film crew that goes into the Amazon and ends up victims of cannibals therein. And what I read was that the actors went into hiding after the release of the movie in order to, drum up the rumor that this was real. And then the director got, because so many people did think it was real, he got pulled into court on murder charges. And that's when the spell needed to be broken, so to speak, speaking of witches. They needed to break the spell and actually, call the actors and say, hey, you need to get your butt in court right now, or else the director's going to jail.
And even then, there was still a lot of controversy after he did it, because people were like, those aren't the same actors. Those aren't the same actors. You lied. You lied. And it's like... ma'am, she's not covered in dirt and sweat. This is the real person. You lied. You lied. Newsmax says you're lying.
Power of a shower.
Yeah, I have heard that it's one of the... have either of you seen it?
I tried.
No.
And...
I don't know if I want to watch it.
It was a bit much for me.
Yeah.
Wait, define a bit much.
There's someone
See,
that
audience,
gets a whole pole rammed up their ass and then it's sticking out their mouth.
That's on the cover. Yeah,
It's on the
except
cover
it's a
of the
painting.
film. Yeah, it's a painting. When you see the actual thing,
It's a painting on the cover, so it softens it a little bit when it's a painting.
Mm.
But yeah, so see, audience, even we have a line. We're not total sickos.
Yeah. And I grew up watching horror movies, and I have a limit on that. Like, nah, we're good.
Mm-hmm. I have heard it's like it's like the most realistically like in-your-face violent movies ever made.
Yeah, just a viewer
Right.
on our chat just brought it up. The turtle sequence that they think they killed the turtle to eat it or something, or they killed the turtle on
Yes.
camera. And
That's what I had heard that they did that they did actually kill animals on camera.
Yeah, and it's always been hotly debated because I think the guy doesn't want to get into any fucking trouble. But it's like, dude, you might have wasted a turtle in your movie. And people aren't going to like you for that because it's like, what did the innocent turtle do to you? Certain turtles are going extinct.
Yeah,
And you are killing them for fucking cinematic value. Douche.
The one thing I do hope is that they only needed one take on that. They needed like 12 turtles to kill on camera.
Well, better gotten it in one take. Then there was another incident too, which I'm like, yeah. Oh, so there is another thing about cannibal holocaust, which just adds to the mythos of it too. So that director was all kinds of weird. I forget his name, that director, but he's a fucked up guy. Because there was supposed to be like a sex scene in it that they're supposed to walk in on, and the actors were having a really hard time, like, completing the scene. So he told them, he told the actors, "Oh, that's a problem. Go out into the woods and have real sex. That ought to help you set up to be able to do the scene for real."
Did they do
What?
it?
No, they both looked at each other. We're like,
No.
We don't want to do that. They're like, we don't want to do that. Why the hell would we want to go? No, just no. And then that was the end of that. But it was like, why the hell would you even suggest that in the first place? You know, like,
Yeah.
what the hell's the matter with you? Like, that should not even be on the list of possibilities. Like, oh yeah, just go out there and bone in the woods. So,
At least rent us a room or something, director.
Yeah, like, so do I think that this movie, do I think it was unethical? For the time, no. It was like the late 90s. We were watching Jerry Springer on TV, which would also turn out to be fake. It's like set up stories and shit. A lot of the stuff we were watching in that era was fake. So it's like, am I really going to be mad at this movie for being fake?
So you think that it was a time where entertainment was taking advantage of the gullibility of audiences everywhere already?
Yeah, like, it was already going on. Okay. So it's like, it's already going on. Why am I going to sit there and doubt the, I hate to sound like, why am I going to sit here and throw stones at this one when everybody was doing it at the time? You know? And, you know, other people that were definitely doing it at the time, too, were people like that asswipe Hulk Hogan, who was out there every Monday night going against other people. So, you know what? One more time for the vote. Fuck you, Hulk Hogan. I'm glad you're dead. Fuck you. It was the 90s. It was 1999 when this movie came out. It was about that time.
Not all of us celebrate death here. Not all of
us, but I do, and I'm speaking on behalf of myself. Fuck that guy. So, how you doing down there, fellas? All right.
Anyway,
back to the Blair Witch.
So, one of the things that really kind of amps up not really the scariness, but the emotional intensity of the movie is witnessing how their relationships break down. I think that feeds into the scariness because it contributes to a sense of disorientation. But just the way that their relationships with each other fall apart, and how, you know, like, when it's become pretty clear that they're lost, they've been lost for a little while, and it seems like it's Heather's fault. Josh has the camera in her face. It's the that's your motivation scene. He has the camera in her face, and he's saying, and he's saying things like, you got us lost. We're all gonna die. That's your motivation. That's your motivation. And she's like crying and she's begging him to stop. It's just like, oof, that really hits me, because it's like they were friends at the beginning, but now they're being so ugly to each other. Well, specifically, Josh is being really ugly to her. And this is actually one of the ways in which it does tread some familiar territory as a horror movie, because the first person to die in a horror movie is almost always the person who most deserves it. It's always someone that you're there, where there's a little bit of you that wants this person to die. And with Josh being just like a colossal asshole in that scene, there's a little bit of you where it's like, screw you, man. And so when he dies, it's a little bit of like it is a horror movie, and if it was going to be anybody, it's going to be the guy who's being the biggest jerk. So, I don't know. It's not that it's not literally that you want him to die after that, but the fact that he's proven himself to be kind of an asshole softens that death a little bit. And horror movies kind of need to do that, at least at the start. They kind of need to make the initial deaths a little soft, not have as much of an impact, but before the movie really kicks into high gear.
So, did you ever hear the theory about this one or no?
About Josh?
So, yeah, there's a theory about what's really going on in the Blair Witch Project.
I would have never guessed that there were theories about the Blair Witch Project.
There are, but there's only one that's plausible. I'll entertain it just a little bit, right? Because, again, found footage is what's scary about it. Found footage is you're kind of only seeing what they show you. You don't see what's going on, right? And there's no plot there. You have to pick it apart. So
that there's a lot. There's a lot that you're not seeing in a found footage movie.
It's like a documentary, right? You're only really seeing what the editor is showing you. You're not seeing the rest. You don't see the whole thing. So, backstory that they kind of gloss over very quickly is Heather and Josh dated briefly before the events of the film. The other guy, Mike, right? Heather and Mike met that day. And Mike and Heather don't really know each other. So, some people have a theory, and that fucking piece of shit Matt Pat put it up on his channel a couple years ago, Film Theory. Fuck him too for his fucking enemy of the podcast, Matt Pat, for fucking Five Nights at Freddy's.
Hey, I do not co-sign that.
Throw it up on the board. So I don't know who this is. Who is this?
He's a fucking YouTuber who did game theory, and then he became obsessed with Five Nights at Freddy's, and now fucking Five Nights at Freddy's is my Dead by Daylight. So fuck Matt Pat. Fuck him. Fuck his stupid fucking videos on Five Nights at Freddy's. He should have done cooler shit. Anyways, fuck Matt Pat. So anyways, the theory that he put up on his video I'd seen circulating beforehand, which was they dragged Heather out there to pretty much whack Heather as they were out there. And Mike is pretty much a part of it to put Heather down. That's the whole kind of like back and forth of it. Because when you get to the house, it seems as though Josh is still in the woods with them bit by bit, little by little. Like you still kind of you're hearing Josh's voice. And it's more so like a plot to torment her. And then when they lure her to the house, they pretty much... That motherfucker retired already, just a viewer. Anyways, they lure her to the house, and they kill her in the house. Like, Josh is the one who pretty much knocks her over her head by the end of the film, and the camera falls over. That's one of the ongoing theories. If it's happening,
Okay, well, why does the camera that Mike is holding fall too?
He puts it down. He just drops it.
He drops it, okay.
He just tosses it. Like, all right, it's time to do this. He climbs up. Oh, there you are. Put it down. Takes the bat out of his hand. yeah, she goes up to see, he goes down, and he's hanging in the corner waiting. But, theories that are out there. Is it likely that happened? I doubt it. But I honestly, like I said, only ever mention it because it's one of the ones that's slightly more plausible, unlike all those things in the, what do you call it? That one we saw in The Shining, where everybody was just making everything you could possibly think of up to try and fit it in there.
Oh my goodness. I blame Stanley Kubrick for that one.
Yeah, everything is either a dick or a minotaur.
Pretty much. Although in this one, if you pay close attention, the tripod is right there as she's pulling it out for a second, and the camera, two reels kind of do look like a bit of a balls, and you put the tripod under it. Kind of, looks like it's coming out, and then you have the two wheels on the top, which is where the film reel goes. So it kind of could symbolize a penis, no? Right?
The rule is, the rule in film criticism is anything that is taller than it is wide is a penis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're filming on a penis when you think about it. They're carrying the tripod around, and that old school camera has that sort of penis-looking shape. Looks like a two balls, and then the camera thing on the bottom. They're walking around with it. I mean,
yeah. It's like an inverted. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a penis. There we go.
It's a wiener.
Vodka.
It's easy to be a film critic. Looks like a penis. Let's submit it to a postmodern journal. They're gonna love it.
Cool.
God, I hate their voices so much.
Hey, those are the voices that raised the generation. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, you cut out there, but I don't change my stance.
Those are the voices that raised the generation. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, and those generations piss me off.
Piss yourself off. Man.
Well, that too.
Yeah, take a look deep inside.
Yeah, you don't want me to do that. Hey, what the heck is going on with your camera, Red? I know it's from the start. It's like it's been getting gradually more and more like
house
grainy.
It hasn't been cleansed yet. Leonard Nimoy's doing his thing again.
What's going on? What's going on with my camera?
Keeps pixelating here and there. Fucking Leonard Nimoy's doing his thing
Oh, I didn't
again.
know that.
Or it's maybe because I insulted Hulk Hogan again. Just fuck him too.
You keep breaking the rule of not insulting the dead because you keep forgetting what happens when you do. And that lesson keeps rearing its ugly head every time. You keep ignoring it. I don't know what else we can do at this point. Not even a shaman or a seance can save us at this point.
Stop telling me how to live my life. Fuck Hulk Hogan. So. So, back to the subject of the Blair Witch Project. So, there is something that I did want to ask you guys, though. Well, actually, no, wait. Before I even go on that. I'm the only one that answered about whether I thought that was ethical or not. Did you guys give an answer? What was your thoughts on this as being ethical or not? Hashtag fuck Hulk Hogan.
It what? Oh, goodness.
What?
It's not, it wasn't like abject cruelty, but it was a bit of playing with people's emotions. It was going over the line of, it wasn't a typical horror film in that it's a safe way of experiencing dangerous things. They say that's one of the reasons, maybe one of the psychological reasons why people enjoy horror films is because it is a safe venue to experience forbidden, dangerous things. And it kind of broke that contract with the audience, I think, by creating suspicions, intentionally creating suspicions and rumors that it was real. So maybe it violated some sort of agreement that filmmakers have with their audience. And again, like with Heather Donahue's mother getting sympathy cards, there were people that were genuinely concerned about something that didn't happen. And, I just don't think that you should. I just don't think that you should put people through that kind of thing if you don't unnecessarily or for like entertainment purposes or marketing purposes. But it wasn't a heinous thing to do. Like, I'm not here sitting in judgment of the marketers and the filmmakers. Like, I think it was clever. It was clever, and it was actually kind of cool. It was an accomplishment. How they were able to coordinate all of that and come up with a mythology that was convincing and cover a lot of bases as far as making the story seem complete with the police reports and the newspaper articles and the documentary. So I guess my final answer is that it kind of walked a line, and maybe that was the point.
Yeah, I'm also gonna say that for the time, they did their homework as to how to market this, because I grew up with a bunch of Gen Xers, and the Gen Xers were always into the whole like, could this be real? Could it be not real? Look at these tapes we got. There's a circulating tape about these kids, and they're dead possibly. Blah blah blah. Like, I have to say they were. Well, what the fuck am I saying? Gen Xers were the ones who made Rotten.com. For those of you who know that far back, what Rotten.com was. If I'm actually like really hating what the Gen Xers were doing in the 2000s, in the late 90s, 2000s. Rotten.com, I think it's gone now. I think they shut it down. Rotten.com was a site where you could see dead celebrities on it. Like the leaked the photos back in the day when they would leak onto Rotten.com. So you would see like,
you mean photos of dead bodies of celebrities?
Yeah, the dead bodies of the celebrities. So like when I was a kid, I think I mentioned this in our last session. When I was a kid, I saw Chris Farley. Like, that's the one that stuck out to me.
Yes. Yes, you did mention that. Yeah.
I also saw Selena. If anybody knows Selena, the
singer.
Selena Quintanilla. I saw like hers, and then there were some other things the images that were viral at the time of a dude where he was eating, like, some Japanese Asian dude was eating like a fetus or something, like at a restaurant. But this was like what Gen Xers were doing, and anybody who says otherwise, like, they were the ones that were like making these sites, passing these sites around, and message boards would pop up. And just for one more thing, I think this was in the early 2000s. Just for one more idea, like, again, this was the culture at the time. We just don't like to admit to it. Post-Reaganism. There was a site that's known for a guy called Arwen Myers or something like that, where it was a message board, which is, we're talking prehistoric internet, social media now. This message board was basically comprised of people who were into cannibal kink. And then two dudes found each other on the cannibal kink. They slept together, and this was all consensual, which was, again, right, like, how the fuck? The companies were like, how the fuck do we do this? Consensual. One dude agreed to be bludgeoned to death while the other guy ate him.
Yeah.
And it was consensual. Like, I remember going through this in college now. But this is all happening in that time. So when this one came out, I go back to it. This was a part of the culture back in the day. Like, what we saw on TV was just, that's how culture is. You see on TV, it makes it to the mainstream, is a very watered down version of what's really going on out there. Because Jackass is what a lot of people like to say was a staple of, Gen X cruelty, Beavis and Butthead, MTV. Well, yeah, they made it to TV just like Texas Chainsaw made it to cinemas, but it was a sort of riff on grindhouse movies, which was like what was really the in thing in the 70s, right? Same thing with this. Like, this is a film which is capturing what people thought was cool at the time. Is it cool? Hell no. Would I really want to watch that? Hell no. I still haven't even seen Grizzly Man, which really is about the final hours of a dude's life, you know, as he hangs out with these bears.
It's about it, but you don't
see him get
It's about
eaten
it,
by
but you don't
bears.
see it. You don't see it, no.
You don't,
You don't even hear it.
See
There's a recording. There's a recording of it. Probably the most powerful scene in that movie is footage of Werner Herzog listening to it in front of one of Treadwell's closest friends. And he tells her, I think you should destroy this. I don't think that you should listen to it.
Yeah. I remember that. One of our earliest sessions, I remember that, and I'm in that camp too. I'm like, you don't need to see that. That doesn't need to be something you interact with, deal with, or a part of.
What good would come of it?
Yeah, like how does that serve or help anybody to be a part of that, right? Like, you need to see that. So, I've been in the camp of, I saw that as a kid. Everybody knew we saw that as kids. And to me, I'm like, yeah, that's the moment where I realized, like, my innocence was gone. Yeah, I saw an actual cadaver on a picture of a cadaver. Yeah, there ends a good part of my childhood. But I've said it before. That's what was going on back in those days. Like, I can even go into a little bit as to how that was. I wasn't an active participant in that culture, but nowadays, right, with Napster and shareware, like, we don't really need to do that anymore. But back in the day, like, people used to just give each other a tape. You would record the tape and pass it along, and that's how you did a lot of things. I'll tell you something that evolved from that culture of tape sharing that's now has a almost $16 a month fee if you want to see a premium. You guys like anime? You guys know anime? So
I don't like where this is going.
Did you just ask us if we knew what anime was?
Well, yeah. I have to ask you guys if you know what anime is at times. You know, I'm old. But anyways.
Yeah, you're old.
Yeah,
you're a year older than me, man.
Yeah. Anyways, back to where we're at. So, when back in the 90s, if you wanted to watch anime, you couldn't just go on TV and watch it. You had maybe like a small limited selection, and the video's limited selection too, because not everything was ported over. If you wanted to see, and I saw this shit in real time. My brother knew a dude.
Did you have to flip through channels uphill both ways?
Oh yeah, you did. If you wanted to even catch something, and you didn't, there's no subtitles. So I remember there was a movie out there called Vampire Hunter D, and you really couldn't get it in many places. You can get it in a few places. So my brother, I remember, went to a guy, and the guy recorded it for him and sold him the recording of the tape. And that was as good as it got. Best Buy, they didn't have it. Circuit City, they didn't have it. They didn't have it anywhere. That was as good as it got. You had to go kind of through, like, ask people who might have it, and they'll come back and record you a copy and give it to you. And then burn you a DVD with a few other episodes on it if you wanted it. Because that was the culture at the time. And the Blair Witch was more or less being traded around like that too, believe it or not. There were people going to the film screenings, right? They were doing little festivals for it. And they were recording it with the hand cam. And then they were passing the tape around on the underground because they thought it was like a real documentary of a bunch of kids' final moments. Crazy shit. So, that viral campaign paid off. For $25,000 movie, they paid $25 million in advertising, and it brought in, I think it tripled its budget or more worldwide. Like, it was a phenomenon.
What? Blair Witch?
Yeah. They get tripled its budget.
It was they made it for like between $60,000 and $65,000.
Less. It was like 20,000.
I've been reading between 60 and 65.
I'll go with yours.
It was actually more expensive than I thought it was. Like I remember hearing a similar figure that it was only made for 30,000. But I've been reading 60 to 65. Here, let's just ask.
Because he sold back the cameras and everything. One of the cameras was
Yeah.
free and the other was sold.
Yep, says 60,000.
I'm not surprised.
Oh, shot on an original budget of 35 to 60,000. The film, the final cost. So after post production and marketing, it was 700. It was between 200 and 7,500,000.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because they had to do reshoots. And you know what's most frustrating about the reshoots? They do the reshoots and they didn't even use them anyway.
That was literally
I find it hard to imagine like what you would have messed up on in a movie like that, because it's just such a intentionally crudely made movie. But then
I'll
again,
tell you what they fucked up on. So they
you could blow lines. You could like something was supposed to be in the shot that wasn't in the shot. No. You could definitely mess up on that movie.
It's very, very weird and archaic what they wanted to reshoot. It was so stupid. So when the producers got their hands on it, the one thing they did not like was Mike's pose at the end, where he's just kind of standing in the corner. So
yeah,
they didn't like that. Oh, come on. That's one of the most haunting images in movie history.
Yes, but you gotta remember, it's for that time frame. I told you, now I'm okay with this movie, but when I was a kid, I didn't like it. Right? A lot of us didn't like it when we came out, so you gotta think about how they were looking at it back then. They're like, oh, that's it? An hour and a half of chasing people, this dude's just sitting there in the corner? So then they went back to the location, they got permits now, and they got Mike back in, and now Mike is actually getting paid to reshoot these scenes. So Mike is there, and they tried to put him like if he were crucified. They also tried to do something where he was kind of like impaled or something. They tried to do something right with Mike, and every time they would kind of run the shots again and again and again and again. The directors and even most of the producers were kind of like, the original shot is the best. Keep it simple. Just keep it simple. Like it's easier, it's more eerie, it's more open-ended, it's a little more haunting. That's fine. Just leave it there.
Did they think that people wouldn't get it?
Well,
was that fears?
I think that's what they thought, and again, to be fair, a couple people didn't. Now, I'm going to exclude myself. I was in the 4th grade. Fuck, am I going to be like, this is symbolic of the moments of the... I was a little kid.
That's how you get bullied in the 4th grade.
Yeah, I was a little kid. I didn't give a shit. Like, as far as I knew, it was a simple, oh yeah, the lady got hit in the back of the head and we just got ripped off. We didn't get to see what it was that hit her in the back of the head. That was it. Boo! Boo earns. I'm pretty sure I'm the one booing in the stands and the guy's like, Smithers, I'm confused. Are they booing? No, sir. They're saying boo earns. Boo earns.
Imagine you throwing a chair at the screen for some reason.
Well, in that day and age, probably everybody was doing it. That was what that era was all about. I don't want to hear millennials complaining about wholesome things when we were kids. When we grew up watching Maury and Jerry Springer on our days after school. All right, like. We grew up on Beavis and Butthead and seeing Johnny Knoxville slide a chicken down a half pipe while Tom Green is over there sucking on a cow udder. Like, that's what was going on back in the day. Like, it is how it was. But, yes. So, ethically wise, I go back to it. It's a sign of the times. The whole campaign behind this one. Do you guys have any statements or anything else you wanted to highlight on this one?
one moment. There's just like moments that I appreciated on this rewatch that I hadn't before. Like, the first few scenes with the interviews. I never paid that much attention to the interviews before, but they're really important for how they set the scene, how they set the mood, and not just because you've got that one callback at the end where he's talking about the child murderer. What's his name?
Rustin Parr.
Rustin Parr. Thank you. Yeah, the guy that has the kids stand in the corner. But it also, I don't know, it makes the story make more sense, but it also does add to a bit of the feeling of disorientation in the movie, because you're getting some clues about this kind of bewitched area, but it's not a coherent story that you're getting between the interviews. Like, okay, so it's the Blair Witch, it's supposedly this woman, but at the end it turns out that she's doing this thing with victims that was associated with someone else. So it's like it's like what turns out to be the real monster is just kind of like an amalgamation of these different stories that are going around town.
Yeah, it's again, right. What I liked about it now is that you kind of get an idea of a sort of Bigfoot type thing living in the town, and that's about it, right? Like,
yeah,
it's like the Jersey Devil or the Mothman out in Virginia. Like, no one.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a big deal. It's how to put it. Like, everybody has a little bit of an encounter with it, but you never really see it, so you don't really know what's up with it. No one really cares, right? So,
okay, so it's nobody really knows, and nobody's afraid, but we just know. Just don't mess with it.
Yeah, just stay the hell out of the woods. This is where, like, I'm actually
going to go to that part of the woods. Yeah.
Spanish people are legit in this. There's a lot of Blair Witches in, like, Latin American culture. It's like, there's a gnome in those woods. Don't go into the gnome's woods. Like, oh. So when you're a kid and they tell you, don't go into the gnome's woods, don't go. And that's the end of the story. Like, you just kind of go, okay, kids, all right, guys, we're not going to play there. And then, you get situations like this movie. There's a witch in the woods? Let's go find the graveyard and film it. Like,
no, that's what ought not be messed with.
Pretty much.
That's the lesson. That's a lesson that I go by too. Don't mess with what ought not be messed with.
Oh boy.
I also liked some of their. Something else from the beginning that I liked was them talking about, like, what is it? What kind of movie are we making? What do we want this movie to be? And it happens to be taking place in October, and they see some Halloween stuff in town. And Heather says, "I don't want a Halloween angle. I want no cheese, no cheese with this movie. I want this to be a serious treatment of a local." And I thought that was a fun way of kind of. It was a fun way of sort of confronting the fact that it takes place during Halloween without really going too deeply into a Halloween theme. Because I've found that one of the flaws that I think is in The Exorcist, now maybe someone will fight me on this, is that it takes place during Halloween, and you kind of get some trick-or-treaters outside in some of the shots, and I'm just sort of like, that doesn't really have anything to do with the story. It doesn't. I mean, like, Heather's right. Like, it makes it a little cheesy. It's one of the few things I don't like about the Exorcist, is that there's this kind of like unnecessary Halloween setting that doesn't really make it any more scary. It just kind of makes it. I don't know. It's just sort of like it makes an otherwise very serious, very great movie kind of gimmicky. So, yeah,
Although
I like that
what's
little
funny?
moment.
The final filming, of, the final day of filming was on Halloween.
For The Exorcist?
No, for the Blair Witch Project.
For Blair Witch Project?
The
Yeah.
final day of shooting was
Very
on
interesting.
Halloween. When they completed the shot, it was Halloween.
Well, like, even without any explicit Halloween reference, like, bare trees are scarier than green foliage. Like fully leafed bright green trees. Like, it's just like, even if you don't go into Halloween themes at all, like dead leaves on the ground and bare, like, claw-like branches, that's just scarier than another time of year. You don't even need to mention the Halloween thing. So,
well, it also adds a sort of layer to the discomfort because, for example, we're all Northeast nomads here. We all know what it's like up here in the Northeast when October hits, especially in those places where you saw it was kind of already kind of foggy, kind of like cool and misty already. That means that they rely on their tent. It's freezing at night. They have to be very careful with how they set up fire because it's freezing at night. And they can't exactly go running around because you guys know when you run in the cold, you get that ice lung that causes you to start coughing like crazy. So when they're running around in the middle of the night, I'm like, damn, man, that must have hurt when they were running and filming that. Because it looks cold as shit in that forest. And these kids are like,
and if you sweat, and if you sweat in the cold too, that can be dangerous too.
It can, because it can cause hypothermia and all that stuff.
Yeah, makes you lose heat. It can cause hypothermia. Exactly. Yeah. Something else that I often find this is a problem with me and found footage movies is I'm always wondering, like, okay, why is someone filming this? Why is the camera on? There's just no reason why. There's just no reason why this would be filmed. It's just like, yes, I know it's a movie, but I don't know. It's sort of like my suspension of disbelief is not getting, it's not getting triggered for some reason the way that it should with a movie. But with this movie, they do address that question here and there, where it's like, well, why are you filming Heather? And she's sort of like, well, because I'm supposed to be like documenting, we're not just making a documentary about the legend. We're making a documentary about like our journey through this. We're documenting our experience here, and people get mad that the camera is still on, and that seems pretty realistic to me. Like, I would be angry if she still had the camera on, but she's very committed to the project. It told you about her character. It revealed something to you about who she is, what her motivation is, as Josh might put it. So yeah, I thought that with this movie handles that question very well. But with other found footage movies, I always just sort of like find myself a little frustrated by just like the real. I guess maybe it's like the realism of the look of a found footage movie versus the far-fetchedness, if that's a word, the far-fetchedness of the camera just being on at all in a situation like this. So
yeah, and it's weird because very few movies nowadays, especially nowadays, you'd think there would be more that do it. They try their best not to acknowledge when this type of thing is going on. It's like, hey, it actually adds more to the realism when someone gets pissed off that they're being filmed, as opposed to, everybody just sort of being cool with this guy filming them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, it adds a little more mystique to it.
Doesn't it take you out of it when she still persists when she's already been called out for her insanity of her filming it, and then when it gets put back on her, and then she just instantly breaks down crying.
Yeah, But that's the point, right? Like, we at least got to see her do that, which is cool, because sometimes in films today, they don't do that. They omit that part, like, oh, it takes everybody out of the film. No, it actually helps me believe that what I'm seeing is possibly going on versus, people just letting it happen. Which, we'll touch on in a few other found footage films if we choose to stick along with this one. There is one other one in the American Gothic, if we start that I can give us a recommendation for, which wasn't pretty bad. It's actually pretty good. If we continue down this line. But I'll give you
question that I see on comment threads here and there is the movie overrated? Do you think it's overrated?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? Okay. Why?
It was entertaining seeing the group dynamic, and by that I mean like seeing a group, like two guys basically yell at one girl for leading them into their deaths, and one person deciding to use his anger to do the most dumb thing you could possibly do when you're lost and make guarantees that they're never going to get out by just throwing away a map without telling anyone until it was like way too late. Like that was that was cinnamon gold right there. Like, let's take the situation we're in and make it 1,000 times worse.
I honestly think that was just frustration.
Well, there's frustration, and then there's that. Like, you already vented your frustration at yelling at her several times, saying that, "Oh, she's lost. Oh, you need to give us the map. Oh, we need to get back to the car. Stop filming all this." Like, you throwing away the map did nothing to help the situation at all, and to show that you are a liability.
I'll explain something that I can personally. It's happened to me before. One time, right? I bought it's a switcher, right? You put it on your TV and you connect multiple HDMI outputs to it, right? And it's supposed to be able to. It's a switcher. So as I'm trying to get this thing to run, it's not running. I'm trying my best to get it to work. And one thing that I absolutely despise when I'm trying to do something and I have somebody just staring at you like this. Right? After a while, like, the eyes are burning. You're like, what the fuck do you want? So after, like, a few seconds, I'm like, this thing isn't working. I just reached in and I pulled out the cable, and then I just whacked the thing against the wall, and I plugged it in the TV normally. I'm like, I tried to be a decent human being about this, but I can't. And I just whanged it against the wall. I'm like, we're done. We're done dealing with this. Fuck it. We'll do it live. Fuck it. You just have, like, these moments. At that moment, if this dude has been stuck in the woods 3 or 4 days, and that map isn't working, and you have this lady who's insistent that the map is working, you know what? Fuck this fucking map. I'll show you what to do with this fucking map. What? Off it goes, and there goes the map. And I'm laughing just
but
as
you gotta
admit, like, fuck this.
But you gotta admit, that was literally, he could have done anything else. He could have abandoned the group with the map. How? Like, he's been acting for the map. He got the map somehow. I don't know how the hell he managed that. But, like, he could have just left them in the woods to die. That's what a person I probably would have considered doing.
So I'm going to tell you something about a map that a lot of people don't like to discuss. A map only works if you know where you are on it. If you do not know where you are on that map, it does not fucking matter. If you're lost,
that is the key difference between a GPS and a paper map.
Yep.
GPS shows you where you are on the map. A map cannot. There is no moving "you are here" arrow on a map. That sounds like something that would be in Harry Potter. Like a map that was a GPS. Like a paper map that was a GPS.
Yeah. And you would only get that in Harry Potter.
And while that is true, I still point to them being a problem because they didn't know east from west. And that's what really killed them in the end. They couldn't tell what was east versus what was west.
Actually,
I'm
going to defend Heather a bit because Heather managed to get them to the territory. on the map following the compass. The problem ultimately turned out to be that once they walked in there, like I said before, you could see either they're lost and she's an idiot, or she was right and she was leading them in the right direction using the compass and the map. And when they walked into the witch, they're now in her territory, because one of them goes like, yeah, we're walking straight. She's like, we walked south and we passed this creek, and then they went south straight all day just to find themselves back at the creek again.
Yes.
Like
at the exact same tree.
Yeah, that means.
But isn't it counter that?
If they've walked straight south all day, you're not turning. You're walking straight south. So that means that they're going in circles. They're stuck. So she was doing the right thing. It's just that they walked into a place and they're stuck. Like that's where like the supernatural element kicks in. They were stuck. They were in the witch's hex. You can't get out of it at that point.
Oh, not really, because one thing is with this movie, the X-ray information with the trivia on Amazon was very insightful. But basically, she thought she was going one direction. Turns out she was going in the complete opposite direction where they wanted to go. Hence, why they got themselves lost. So, it's more so the first point. She was an idiot. She didn't know east from west or north from south. If she just used the sun as a way to help position, because the sun rises in the east, that's in the west. If she knew that,
fucking
then she would
over
not
here.
have.
You can go around. You can tell which is left and east and west by looking at the fucking sun. Most people can't even tell what's north and south. Most people can't even figure out which is the biggest finger on their hand. This is how it goes.
You can roughly tell. You can roughly tell which is east and west and north and south based on where the sun is. Where the sun rises and sets in particular.
Yeah, the sun doesn't change. The sun does not change.
No.
So yeah, Heather is an idiot.
North, south, east, and west are fixed. Left and right is relative.
Mm-hmm. Well, either way, this lady fucking got them killed then. Back to my defense completely discerned. Helen got them killed. Heather! The fuck are you calling her Helen for? Fucking Candyman movie. I gotta rewatch that, I guess.
Just call her Karen.
Karen, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Karen it is.
Yeah, so Karen Donahue. Yeah.
I was about to say something very
stupid. Oh boy. Alright, any other last thoughts? Not the one that you were just about to say. Because I know we're running on time.
Well, I would like to say that I don't think it's overrated at all. It was scary in an entirely new way. It's a genuinely surprising horror movie. Like I was saying before, it doesn't follow the same... It's not tempted, even, to follow the same rhythms of a typical horror movie, where it's like, that there's something going to be around that corner, but not yet. Here's where the jump scare is going to be. The person's going to turn around, see the ghost, then they're going to turn back around, and it's not there anymore. There's none of that. No rhythms. It's completely unexpected, everything. And, tremendous acting, creepy story, just brilliant horror minimalism. I love it. I think it's a great movie.
No, I must not make my stupid country. Wait, this mixer.
Make it.
There we go. Well, that's what happens when you let women have a map. All right, then.
Okay, signing off.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, that was worth it.
All right. All right, then, ladies and gentlemen. Probably by now, just gentlemen.
I mean, wait a minute. No, that's not funny. I don't even get it. What are you talking about? I'm not aware of any stereotypes of women in following directions.
You want me to give you a shovel to make digging this hole easier for all of us?
But then again, none of the men asked for directions, Josh or Mike. So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah. Whose fault is it really?
There's
Which stereotypes should we blame, really?
Stop.
Oh boy. Well, that they learned their lesson, one way or another. All right, folks. And on that note, thank you for joining us tonight on our recent entry of the Ghastly Hallows podcast. The Blair Witch Project was our own personal project getting this one off the ground. So
we're gonna get back on the. Now that I'm good and moved, we're gonna get back. We're gonna get back on a regular schedule.
Yes, back on consistency. Lord knows we need that around here. Any final words, Bolt?
I'm consulting the lawyer.
Consult the lawyer away, sir. I did nothing illegal. Freedom of speech.
First Amendment.
Yeah, First Amendment. We've got to give it a bit of time while it signs out. So let me just crank up the volume.
We are podcasters. We must be pro First Amendment.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'm staring at like this new graphic that has been on the stream. I'm just like, you could have told us that you decided to play with that. That's the first time I'm seeing it.
Sir, I need you to quiet down for 5 seconds so we have the quiet